I guess we've all had to come to terms with the fact that Thrill Dragster's revamp is being done by Zamperla over Intamin. Although I also hate the spike idea and I wish they would extend the ride beyond the top hat, it's clear that the spike is happening and any other major layout extension is not. This goes against any claims Cedar Point has ever tried to make about breaking the coaster height record. I just can't believe them. But anyway, back to Zamperla. Why is Cedar Fair holding this stupid grudge against Intamin? Intamin and Cedar Point were a match made up in heaven. Intamin's first coaster was Wilderness Run at Cedar Point, then known as Junior Gemini, built in 1979. Cedar Point wanted to break records, and Intamin was the manufacturer to do it for them. When it came time to break the 300-foot barrier, Cedar Point dumped Arrow, their former manufacturer of choice, and took a chance on Intamin, who did a little bit of innovation, which is always necessary to break any sort of important record, and they built Millennium Force. When they decided that winning the tallest coaster award by a technicality, that being that Superman at Magic Mountain was technically taller, except that it was a shuttle coaster, Cedar Point once again called up Intamin to do some more innovating, and we got Thrill Dragster. In 2007, the two companies tried something a little bit different, building Maverick, which broke no major records but was an outstanding ride nonetheless. I also like to believe that the Blitz coaster model was an important step in putting Intamin where it is now, building world-class multi-launch coasters like Velocicoaster. Anyway, I'll stop being a history textbook, but I want to point out two major events that likely brought about Cedar Point's divorce with Intamin. Event number one was I-305 at King's Dominion. Now, isn't I-305 exactly what King's Dominion wanted? Something to compete with Apollo's Chariot by being really tall and fast and providing a drastically different ride experience than Apollo's Chariot. And I find it really hard to believe that Intamin would build a ride without the park consenting to the layout. Plus, in 2010, they should have had the tech and the math know-how to calculate the forces this ride would pull. Nothing that happened with this ride is Intamin's fault, but I-305 was the last ride Intamin would build for Cedar Fair. Event number two was the accident on Cedar Point's Shoot the Rapids in 2013. I bet Cedar Fair was having tons of reliability issues with a lot of their Intamins over the course of the decade, but when a boat rolled back on the lift of Shoot the Rapids and injured 7 people, that seemed like the last straw. Intamin was innovative, and perfection cannot be expected from new technology. Either way, it seems like Intamin gave Cedar Fair exactly what they asked for on every occasion, and Cedar Fair clearly did not ask for what they really wanted. Now, for just a second, I want to talk about RMC. Cedar Fair was slower to give this brand new company a chance, but in 2018 they finally bought 3 coasters for them. As far as I know, Railblazer at Great America and Twisted Timbers at King's Dominion worked out wonderfully for their respective parks, but Cedar Point again asked for innovation. They wanted newer trains with magnetic brakes, and so when the new trains were too heavy and they overshot the brakes, not to mention the extra strain they put on the wood structure of the ride, who did they blame? RMC. And Cedar Fair bought no more RMCs after that. So basically, Cedar Fair only goes with reliable manufacturers, and Intamin had many chances to prove themselves, but to no avail. Okay, but new generation Intamin seems drastically different from old, unreliable Intamin. Plus, as far as I'm aware, Wild Mouse was Cedar Fair's first coaster from Zamperla. So why on earth would Cedar Point choose Zamperla to fix Thrill Dragster, a company with little experience in this type of ride, over Intamin, the company that built Dragster in the first place? It all boils down to trust. Cedar Fair has clearly done their research and seen that many Zamperla rides are very reliable, compared to some Intamins like Hagrid's Magical Motorbike Grocery List at Islands of Adventure that are just not. But they're being stupid. Do they really think that Zamperla is capable of building them a coaster that reaches heights of over 400 feet and speeds of over 100 miles an hour? I think not. Maybe I'm just biased, but I don't understand it. See, Cedar Fair is looking at Zamperla's stats in much the same way that us enthusiasts look at the stats of a new ride before it opens to get a feel for how the ride will run. But they're essentially asking Zamperla to step outside their comfort zone and innovate. So that's like us looking at the stats and then being proven drastically wrong. And with B&M, their innovating worked out great with a lot of models for Cedar Fair, for example their Giga Coaster. But with RMC, and especially with Intamin, their innovation simply caused a lot of headaches, and it didn't pay off. So why do they believe Zamperla will be any different? I mean, yeah, they sort of tried something new with Wild Mouse, but really, this is innovation on a drastic level. When is Cedar Fair gonna learn that if they want something unique, it's probably gonna have problems? So you might as well hire a company that's good at innovating. Shoulda hired Intamin. But coulda, woulda, shoulda. Anyway, I want to know what your thoughts are on this problem. I also want to insert that I have very little hope that Cedar Fair will ever build a record-breaking RMC T-Rex or build an RMC T-Rex at all. Okay, I'll stop talking now. Thanks for listening to me rant, and now go have a coaster adventure.